What's up, fighting fans? Tips from the FightIQ channel. Today we're coming back for another episode of the FightIQ show. We're back to our original schedule a bit earlier than last week, so we can make two top 5, the one from last week and the one from the coming weekend. So you know the drill, I'm gonna rank the top 5 fights that happened last weekend and tell you why you should hit the replay button. To make this ranking, I base my opinion on these criteria: excitement, duration of the fight, opposition level, and the way to finish the fight. After that, I'll be picking the top 5 coming matchups. Let's get ready to rumble! So on the menu there was the PFL Europe in Dublin, the Haney vs Prograis boxing card in San Francisco, UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas, One Fight Night 17 in Bangkok, Octagon 50 in Czech Republic, and the Brave CF 79 in Bahrain. There were a lot of good fights and I had a hard time picking only 5 fights. Number 5, Nedoh vs Simeon Powell. It was on the main card of the PFL Europe, Friday 8th, it was in Dublin, and it was for the light heavyweight championship. So the PFL Europe light heavyweight final, 2 young and really good prospects. At the beginning, Nedoh was the one being really aggressive, it was all the time pressuring Powell, but Smooth was being elusive, it was getting out of harm's way thanks to his speed advantage, his head movement and his good footwork. He also hurt Nedoh a few times with nice combos. He was setting up a powerful right hand with his double jab. I think it was a really competitive first round and I would have given an edge to Powell for this one. But in the second round, the thunder stroke. During a striking exchange where Powell stayed really close to Nedoh, he got caught with a powerful right hand and then a left hook that sent him directly to the ground. And Nedoh wasted no time, he went to finish the fight directly there with heavy ground and pound. By the way, I don't know what the referee did out there. I think Powell was clearly out after the first few strikes and I think he took too much time to step in. So that's the first pro loss for Powell, but for sure I think he will learn from it and come back even more dangerous. Congratulations to Nedoh, he did an amazing campaign this year and he closed it the best way possible. I hope he'll have the opportunity to go into the PFL World Championship next year. I think he has definitely his chances. Number 4, Kaszuba vs John Mitchell. It was also on the main card of the PFL Europe in Dublin on Friday 8th and it was this time for the lightweight championship. It was a really good fight. Kaszuba went directly chasing Mitchell, was pressuring him, trying to cut the cage, but Mitchell was staying elusive and defending really well Kaszuba's attacks. Halfway through the first round, Mitchell found an opening in Kaszuba's close guard. He threw a beautiful front kick directly to his chin that wobbled Kaszuba a bit. Then he followed, making punches rain on him, and the referee almost stepped in, but Kaszuba succeeded to survive due to his beautiful wrestling. In the second round, Mitchell was the one putting the pressure this time. I think he felt that Kaszuba was vulnerable and he wanted to finish him as soon as possible. And he was trying to get that front kick to the chin again. He was looking for it. At some point, Kaszuba exploded with punches to put Mitchell back against the cage. Then he started wrestling, throwing a lot of shots from the clinch position. He caught Mitchell with a knee to the face and then finished the fight with great ground and pound. Huge comeback from almost out in the first round to knocking out Mitchell in the second. Kaszuba remained undefeated and is now the PFL Europe lightweight champion. I'm really excited to see what's next for him. Number 3, Kakhorov vs Franz Mlambo. It was another fight from the main card of the PFL Europe, Friday 8th in Dublin, and this one was for the bantamweight championship. As you know, I was really hyped up by that one. I think it's 2 great martial artists with lots of skills. And right away, right after the bell, Mlambo was showing that he was there to bang. He had a lot of speed, a lot of variety in his striking and a great footwork too. During the first round, I feel that Kakhorov was smart enough to recognize that if it stayed like this on the feet, he was gonna get picked apart. So he went for the takedown, but from the ground Mlambo was defending really well on his back and then succeeded to get back up. After that, he continued to pick Kakhorov apart until the end of the round. The second round was different. Kakhorov was pressuring more, he was giving less space to Mlambo, but this one was still being successful with the striking, going in and out. Kakhorov tried another time to wrestle, but without success. And now, during a striking exchange where Mlambo was very sleek, he moved like a boxer, getting behind his opponent to hit him back when he will turn around. He unfortunately got caught by a powerful hook from Kakhorov that sent him directly on his ass to the ground. Kakhorov went there to finish him with a couple of shots before the referee stepped in. So it's another huge comeback in that event, beautiful fighting spirit from Kakhorov that never gave up. He's the new PFL Europe Bantamweight champ. I don't know if he'll go to the PFL World Tournament next, but yeah, I think he could do something good for sure there. I think Mlambo will sure learn from that fight and that he will come back even better. I think he was looking really great in that fight. He got maybe a little bit carried away. I hope to see him back at the PFL next season. Number 2, Anthony Smith versus Rountree Jr. co-main event of the UFC Fight Night that was in Vegas on Saturday night. It was the best fight of the event in my opinion. Both were there to damage their opponents. Heavy shots were exchanged from the very beginning, and through the first round, Rountree Jr. started to get his flow going. It was starting to hurt Smith, and by the end of the first round, Lionheart was really wobbly. Rountree hurt him again in the second round with big loaded shots. You could see on Smith's face and body language that he was having a hard time. He tried to go on the ground, but he didn't succeed. After that, he recovered a bit. He was trying to fight more at distance, going in and out to avoid getting hit by Rountree. And Smith started the third round by pressuring Rountree, but he got a bit carried away and he got hit by a huge counter from Rountree. He was wobbly and then he fell on the ground. Rountree didn't even continue his ground and pound. He saw that it was over and waited for the ref to step in. Amazing performance from Rountree Jr. The guy is full of power, is really good at hurting people. I'm really curious to see where's the limit for him. Call that Alex Pereira, the new champ, but I'm not sure I'll get that so soon. But Lionheart, I think he looked better than in his previous fights, but still, he looks like he cannot take too much damage anymore. So let's see what he decides for the rest of his career. I think he already did so much for the sport. And number 1, David Haney versus Regis Prograis. Main event of the boxing card was the same name. It was Saturday night in the Chase Center in San Francisco. It was for the WBC World Super Lightweight title. It might come as a surprise for some of you, but I think it still was the best fight of the weekend, even though it seemed one-sided. Prograis started the fight trying to pressure Haney. He was trying to not let him find his range, but I think he didn't commit enough to that game plan. Haney had way too much space. He found his jab pretty easily. He started to set up his right hand and he stayed a moving target. And I think the turning point of that fight was in the third round when Haney knocked Prograis down with a beautiful leaping right hand. From then, I have the feeling that Prograis was respecting Haney's power and that he was afraid of getting countered. He continued to leave too much room to Haney, who stayed committed to his game plan. He stayed disciplined. He was not getting carried away and he was not underestimating his opponent. In the later rounds, I would say from the 9th round maybe, Prograis was trying to get back at him, but it was already too late. Haney got the win quite logically via unanimous decision and he's being crowned a new champion. I really think that it's a thing of beauty to see him in the ring. He has a great IQ, beautiful footwork, a lot of lateral movements. That's amazing. He made it look easy against somebody as tough as Regis Prograis, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. Also to mention this week, there were a lot of great fights this weekend. I was adopting to include some of the following ones in my top 5. Menchikov versus Shafi, a crazy Muay Thai fight, a lot of heavy shots from Menchikov with a very memorable KO. Joe Nattawut versus Luke Lessay, a crazy and bloody war where Smoking Joe showed that he's an elite striker. Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez, it was a really tactical fight where Song succeeded to negate Gutierrez's kick arsenal. And also Lawson Keita versus Nico Samsonidze, where Keita showed his devastating power in round 2 after being a bit in difficulty in the first. Then we had Dakota Dicheva, who won the Women Flyweight Championship of the PFL Europe versus Katidze in a fight that she completely dominated. Kriklia won the inaugural One Championship Heavyweight Muay Thai World Title with a beautiful KO over Alex Roberts. Also there, Johan Gasly scored a fast KO for his one Fight Night debut over Edgar Tabares. That's crazy how good this kid is. We saw some good performances at the UFC Fight Night, for example Akbaras, Tim Elliott, Kevin Jusset, Steve Garcia, Talita Lankar, and even Tatsuro Taira. But the last one, this guy is really good. I wouldn't be surprised to see him fight for the flyweight belt in the future. Chequinanoso Pedro made a beautiful entrance at Brave CF79, winning a difficult fight versus Jokar Duraev. Also crazy KO from Eliezer Kubansa versus Adel Ibrahim. And to finish, I was impressed by Liam Paro, who knocked out Montana Love in the co-main event from the Haney Prograis boxing card. He's keeping his WBO World Super Lightweight title. He might be a future opponent of Haney. Andy Cruz KO'd Giovanni Strafon on that card too. I was really blown away by the skills from this guy. I will follow him from now on. And now the top 5 coming matchups. So for this coming weekend on the menu there is the UFC 296 in Vegas, last UFC event of the year guys. Rodriguez vs Edwards boxing card in Glendale, Arizona. The KSW 89 in Gliwice, Poland. Cage Warriors 165 in San Diego. LFA 173 in Vegas. And RS 18 in Paris. Number 5, Josh Emmett vs Bryce Mitchell. It will be on the prelims of the UFC 296, Saturday 16th in Las Vegas. I am really intrigued by this matchup. Emmett was first supposed to fight Giga Chikadze, but Chikadze was injured last week and he had to withdraw. So Mitchell stepped in to continue his progression in the rankings. Tug Nasty is number 10 in the ranking of the featherweight division. Is 16-1, 7-1 at the UFC since he won the Ultimate Fighter's 27th finale in 2018. He is known for having really good grappling skills. He was on a 5 fights win streak between 2018 and 2022, including wins over Andre Fili and Edson Barbosa. The streak was stopped brutally by a title contender Ilia Topuria via submission in December from 2022. He got back in the win column last September when he won versus Dan Ige via unanimous decision. He will have to face the former title contender Josh Emmett. So Emmett is 38 years old, is 18-4, and is in the UFC since 2016. He was on a title run where he beats Michael Johnson, Shane Burgos, Dan Ige, Calvin Kattar, but then he got submitted by Yair Rodriguez last February. And then he got another loss by unanimous decision last June versus Ilia Topuria. I clearly see this fight going to the distance, even though I don't think it will be boring. Both are really hard to put away. I would say that Mitchell has an edge thanks to his good grappling skills and that he's able to keep the fight there if he wants to. He's also good at avoiding taking big punches from Emmett, so Mitchell for me. Number 4, Shavkat Rakhmonov vs Stephen Thompson. It will be on the main card of the UFC 296, Saturday 16th in Las Vegas. This one is a banger. It's 2 high-ranked welterweights, 2 masters in their domain. First we have Shavkat Rakhmonov, 17-0, only finishes 8 KOs, 9 submissions. He is the boogeyman from the welterweight division. He is on a quick ascension since entering UFC in 2020. Nomad is ranked number 5, is 5-0 in the organization, including victories over Neil Magny and Geoff Neal last March via submission. He wants to keep his streak going to get a title fight as soon as possible. But first, he will have to go through UFC veteran Stephen Thompson. Thompson is 40 years old, is 17-6-1, 6 KOs inside the UFC. He entered UFC in 2012. He's a former title contender and he had some memorable wars versus Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald, Tyrone Woodley, Jorge Masvidal, Darren Till, and the list goes on and on. Wonderboy is ranked number 6 in the division. He's still an elite striker. Even though he's less active since 2020, I think he's really more selective with the fight he accepts. His stays on the win via TKO versus Kevin Holland in December from 2022. Was then supposed to fight Michel Pereira last July, but Pereira missed weight and Thompson didn't accept the fight. I don't see this one going the distance. I expect a striking war. Rakhmonov mentioned that he will not hide from Wonderboy striking, so that's going to be fun. That being said, Nomart is smart and I expect him to take things to the ground if it doesn't go his way on the feet, and I see him getting the win. Number 3, Adrian Bartosiński versus Saladin Parnasse. It will be the main event of the KSW 89 Saturday 16 in Gliwice, Poland, and it will be for the welterweight title. This fight is already historical. Parnasse will try to be triple champ by getting the welterweight title after already having his hands on the lightweight and featherweight belts. But still, it will be the challenger on that one. The Frenchman is 26 years old, is 18-1, 3 KO, 7 submissions. He entered KSW in 2017 and he washed the whole featherweight division. He got the featherweight interim title in March 2019 via TKO over Roman Szymanski. He got his first loss during the unification bout. It was in January from 2021 versus Daniel Torres, where he lost via KO. But he came back stronger. He got the featherweight title in a rematch versus Torres. He won via decision, and it was December from 2021. He defended the belt, he caught the lightweight belt and defended the featherweight belt again, every time finishing his opponents. And to make history, he will have to face the welterweight champion Bartosiński. Bartos is 28 years old, is 14-0, 11 knockouts. That will be his first title defense. He captured the vacant title last April, where he won via KO in the first round versus Szczepaniak. Before that, he was 4-0 in the organizations, 4 knockouts. He never went past the round 2. I think it's gonna be a really explosive fight. I don't see it going until the 5th round. Bartos will have the power advantage for sure, but Parnasse is fast and durable. I think he will find a solution to avoid getting hit and that he will get a finish when his opponents will get tired. Number 2, Jesse Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards. It's the main event of the boxing card with the same name, Saturday 16th in Glendale, Arizona. And it will be for the WBO and IBF World Flyweight titles. I'm so excited about that one. That's 2 champions willing to unify the belts. Flyweight is a really exciting division. It's full of fast and technical fighters. Let's start with Sonny Edwards. He's 27 years old, 20-0, 4 KOs. He turned pro in 2016, got European and international titles soon after, before getting his hands on the IBF world title in April from 2021 versus Moruti Ntalan, in a fight that he controlled with his elusiveness and his beautiful footwork. Indeed, Edwards is not the kind of fighter to aim for the KO. He's always moving. He can fight while switching stances. He had an amazing head movement. He's a technical striker, and he has a lot of volume in his striking. I think it's really a thing of beauty to watch him fight. He defended his belt 3 times already versus Wasim, Felix Alvarado, and more recently Andres Campos in June. He will try to get the WBO title belonging to Jesse Rodriguez. And it won't be easy. Bam is a boxing prodigy. He's 23 years old, 18-0, 11 knockouts. And he turned pro in 2017 when he was only 17. He has really heavy hands for the weight class. He has a great footwork as well. He's always pressuring his opponents and he makes great choices regarding his striking. That's gonna be the first title defense for him. He got the WBO title last April versus Christian Gonzalez Hernandez. I think it's gonna be one of the most technical and entertaining boxing fights we got this year, and it's really hard to say who's gonna get that one. Bam is listed as the slight favorite by the bookies, but I have the feeling that Edwards might surprise him. And number 1, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Main event of the UFC 296, Saturday 16th in Las Vegas for the welterweight title. I have to confess, I want to see Covington getting his ass kicked. I know it's not objective and Covington is a really good fighter. He has great wrestling. He's powerful, he's durable, but I really don't like the character he built and the fact that he clearly has the favor of the UFC. He didn't fight since March from 2022, where he won versus Jorge Masvidal via unanimous decision. Since 2020, he has only one fight per year. I don't think that justifies the #1 contender spot. Nonetheless, he is 12-3. He has 3 wins via submission, 2 wins via knockouts since entering the UFC in 2024. He has dominant wins over Demian Maia, Rafael dos Anjos, Robbie Lawler, and Tyron Woodley. Of course, you got to give him that. He will have to snatch the belt from Leon Edwards. Edwards also entered the UFC in 2014, 13-2, won no contest, 3 KOs, 1 submissions inside the organization. He fought a lot of big names: Vicente Luque, Rafael dos Anjos, Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz, and of course Kamaru Usman for the title, where he scored that amazing KO via an high kick in the last minute of the last round of a 5-round fight where he got dominated first. He beat Usman again in the rematch via decision for his first title defense last March. I would say that Edwards is gonna get the win via decision in a really close and tactical fight. I expect a lot of wrestling, but Rocky proved versus Usman that he has a solution for that. Also, I think there are some other fights that are worth your attention. For example, at the UFC 296, there will be Pantoja versus Royval for the flyweight title. There will be Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary. I'm kind of excited about that one too. There will be Ferguson versus Pimblett, Garbrandt versus Kelleher, so be sure to tune in. There will be Murodjon Akhmadaliev versus Kevin Gonzalez, Galal Yafai versus Rocco Santomoro at Rodriguez versus Edwards boxing card. Roberto Hernandez versus Trevin Jones, Wilson Reyes versus Ricky Bandejas, and Ronald Siahan versus Andrew Johnson Cabrera at Cage Warriors 165. Goyev versus Fernando for the LFA middleweight title Friday 15th. There will be also Tavares versus Ramirez, good lightweight matchup. Sarek Chills versus Alfonso Leiva at welterweight. And to finish, Axel Sola versus Turpal Yunusov at RS 18, Friday 15th for the vacant lightweight title. It's a fight between 2 undefeated French prospects. So it was a packed episode, but I hope that you know what to watch now. If you enjoyed that video, please give a hard punch to those like and subscribe button, especially the last one if you don't want to miss any new releases. Also, let me know in the comment what you thought about the crazy fights we had last weekend and give me some of your picks for the coming matchups. Enjoy the fights, I'll see you next week.